Howdy, this is Spyro here, and the reason why you're probably here is somebody told you to reinstall Windows, and you have the slightest clue how. Well, I'm going to show you how to do it. There's only a few things you need to do so. You need a working computer. So I got my laptop here. You need a USB drive. This one here is just a little PNY USB. The USB though has to be at least 8 gigabytes or larger. So an 8 gig, a 16, a 32, a 64, 128, doesn't matter. Just as long as as long as it's 8 gigabytes or larger. Now, some USBs, if you plug them in like this one, it says it's 8 gigs. But if you plug it in and it shows up like 7 or like 7.5 or something like that, don't worry about it. It's just way drives are partitioned. That's a whole different video. It's a whole different discussion. A lot of technical knowledge. It's just not necessary right now. All you got to have is just a USB that's got nothing on it, and it's 8 gigabytes or larger. Okay, first we have to prep the USB for, we got to make the tool, in other words. So we need to go to the computer here, trying to make this as easy as possible. We're going to pull up Google. Well, shoot. Yeah, we're going to pull up Google. And we're going to type in media creation tool Windows 10. Then you should be able to find a listing. One of the listings will be for download Windows 10 disk image ISO file. Just make sure it's one from Microsoft.com. Click on it. It'll take a minute or two. Now you'll be presented with this website. Something looks similar to this. You have a area where it says update now, and you'll have an area where if you scroll down a little bit, you might have to scroll down, you'll see a create Windows 10 installation media. All you have to do is download tool now. For me, I'm using a download manager. For you, it actually might come up down here in the corner, which I'll show you what it does. It comes down here in the corner. See, down here, for me, my little download handler handled it, but down here, it'll come up something like this. Wait till it's done and just open it. But for me, I got to use my download client, so bear with me for a second. Okay, save, start, let it download. Okay, once you double click on it and open it, all you have to do is open it up. This might prompt you, press yes. Takes a few minutes to load. Now what it's going to do, it's going to get a few things ready. It's basically checking your computer to make sure that your computer is has enough storage, if the connection is stable, things like that. It's going to take a few minutes, getting a few things ready. This is the license agreement, so you press accept. Getting a few things ready. Wait for it. Wait for it. Then you do not want to upgrade this PC now. So you want to create installation media. So you got to click on the bottom dot, press next. This here really doesn't matter. So you can just leave it as defaults. It's just going to work, because the only thing this is for is if you got a really old PC that runs 32-bit or something of that nature. Most modern computers are 64-bit, and the Windows USBs are pretty much universal. So there's nothing here that needs to be changed. So just go ahead and press next. For now, we're going to create the USB, but there's an option for ISO. So if somebody mentions ISO, I will show you how to create an ISO in another video. But for now, we're going to create the USB. Right now, we want to take the USB and plug it in to the computer. We want to also make sure the USB shows up. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to this PC and make sure, in File Explorer, and make sure it shows up. This one here is 14.4 gigabytes, so that's a 16 gigabyte USB drive. So USB flash drive, make sure the USB is plugged in. Next, then make sure your USB drive shows up. Now for me, on File Explorer, you go back in File Explorer, it was drive E for the USB. Well, I got to make sure that drive E is what shows up. And if it doesn't show up, just press refresh drive list and see if it does. If it doesn't, then you have a problem with the USB drive itself. But for now, my drive shows up. So click on the E 16 gigabytes, then press next. What it's going to do now is it's going to download all the files directly from the internet, then copy them to the USB. Wait until this process here is done, which I'm going to pause the video, let it go through all of its steps, then show what happens afterwards. So right now, 7%. Let's sit back and wait until it's done. Okay, after a period of time, it comes up and it says, your USB flash drive is ready. Well, only thing you got to do is go over, click finish. Closes out. And the only thing you have to do is unplug your USB and it is ready. Let's move over to the computer we're trying to install Windows on. Okay, what we have here is my little computer. It's a little bit of a mess, but this is just good enough for this little demonstration. What I'm going to do is install Windows on my little NUC PC. It's basically just a miniature full computer tower. Now, installing Windows, because a lot of people's asked if you've made it this far, this works on laptops, desktops, little NUC PCs, just any kind of PC. This won't work on Macintosh or anything like that, or Chrome books, or yeah. So basically PCs, laptops, desktops, custom build PCs, you know. But what you need to do, take your USB, plug it into the back or a USB port in your computer. Now, what we need to know, which you might need to go back to your other computer or you can look it up on the internet, you need to know what your boot menu key is. Because what we have to do, we have to boot to the USB. Because if you already have Windows on the machine, you don't want your PC to reboot back to your SSD or hard drive. You want it to boot strictly to the USB. But for this computer here, I would have to actually look it up, which for me, I'm just going to go in and just wing it, trial and error type deal. Because it might be a case to where you don't know what the boot menu key is. So what we're going to do is we're just going to turn the computer on and go from there. Okay, computer turned on. I forgot to turn my TV on, so hold on for a second. Sorry about that. A little bit of a technical difficulty. But let's see. Gonna wait till the computer turns on. And for this computer here, the boot menu key is F11. So I got spam F11. For every computer though, for your boot menu key is going to be different. Some of them might be F2, F3, F4. Some of them's F8. Some of them's F12. Some of them's F11. They may vary. But how you'll know you got the boot menu is you'll have a menu that comes up similar to this here, which will list all your drives. Mine, knowing that's a PNY USB, it'll show up as the second one down. I'm not going to boot via Pixie with PXE because that's over Ethernet. There's my hard drive. It's in my computer. I'm not going to boot to that. I want to boot strictly to the USB. So on my keyboard, on this computer, because some of them has a where you can actually click on via the USB, via UEFI or other means, you can actually use the mouse and click. This one here, I cannot. I have to use the keyboard. So I have to go the arrow keys up, down to select the USB and press enter. Sit back, wait. The USB light will start blinking. And a little bit of patience. It'll boot right to the USB. Pause it for a minute and let it boot. Okay, it took a little bit longer because my USB is a little slow. It took about 5 minutes, but it'll show the Windows logo just like it's going to actually boot up. So that's a good sign. Then you have a window comes up just like this. Ignore that other window because what it done, it detected that I had another installation of Windows, but ignore that. That won't show up for you. This window here comes up. It's just basically going to ask you for the language, what language you want to install Windows on, the time and currency format, the keyboard type you're using. Okay, set that. Press next. Now for this demonstration, we want to install Windows, so we want to install now. It's going to take a few seconds. Pause the video just for a minute while that's loading. Okay, the license agreement should show up by now, so the only thing you have to do is accept the license terms. Press next. There'll be two options comes up at this point. There's upgrade and there's custom. The upgrade, which is install Windows and keep file settings and applications, don't use that. It rarely works. It rarely works. The best the one to use is the custom option. So you want to go down here, select custom. Here's my partitions that was on my hard drive from the previous installation. If you select these, Windows can't be installed on this drive. This one here, obviously, this one here, Windows can't be installed on the drive, this one here. Well, if you're presented with these, how partitions work is it works almost like a book, okay? Your hard drive is the book itself. Partitions is the chapters in the book. And partitions is basically takes the whole entire hard drive, sections it for different purposes. On this whole entire hard drive, this is a old 320 gigabyte hard drive. It's partitioned 4 ways. So that means the chapters is going to be these 4 different sizes here. Well, we don't want to install Windows on top of a corrupt copy of Windows. So, because that's going to cause issues in the long run term. So how do we fix this? Well, we got to delete these. So select the top one, delete, press OK. It'll show up as unallocated space. Okay, that's good. Select the next one, delete, OK. It'll disappear. It goes over to your unallocated space. So far, that's good. The next one, delete it. Goes over to unallocated space. Then delete the next one. Unallocated space. Now, if you notice, this here says drive 0 unallocated space. That means this computer only has one drive. If you have more than one drive in your computer, such as an SSD and a hard drive, you'll have two. And that there, you'll have to find out which drive is your SSD and which one's your hard drive. So for this one, for this demonstration, I only have one drive, which is just my hard drive. I just click on it and just press next. You do not have to press new or anything like that. Windows will do it for you. So as soon as you press it and press next, it'll install. Now, if your drives do not show up here at all, then you must go into your BIOS and either set your a few different options in BIOS, which you can ask in the Discord server about what options needs to be set. Just tell them you're at this point here and your drives are not showing up in the partitioning stage. But once you got all your partitions deleted, you select your drive, press next. You sit back and you wait. Your computer will reboot several times. Keep your USB plugged in your computer the whole entire time that it's installing. When to remove the USB is when you're able to use your computer at your Windows desktop, where you have all your icons. You're able to get on the internet, such as you can go to google.com, you can go to discord.com, you can go to the tech server's Discord page, just as long as you're at the Windows desktop. So sit back and let it go. Once the Windows installation is done, we recommend to go to Start, Settings, which your Start menu here, Start, Settings, then go to Update and Security, then check for Windows updates, because there's going to be things to where your drivers is nothing's going to be installed, because this is going to be just a clean installation of Windows. There's going to be no programs, no Windows drivers, nothing. It's just, so you have to basically allow Windows to install its drivers. Hopefully this helped. This is Spyro. Have a good one.